Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Neon City Daily. I'm your host, Jamie, and with me...
I'm Josh.
I'm Nick.
I'm Boris.
Well done.
You threw off the order harder than I could imagine. Way harder.
We're keeping it. It's done.
That's what I figured. I'm assuming you're not keen for another one.
I
so
may
let's
also
just
be known
go.
as Dave.
I was
Maybe
legitimately,
ladies' day.
with like no trace of irony, I was going to just call you Boris for the entire podcast if you didn't notice it.
You're on Boris.
So, anyway, we're back for another episode. How have we all
are.
been?
Oh yeah, I've been doing pretty well. Just playing video games and taking video names. How about you guys?
Games too. Good stuff. Bit of Civ 6, which was free on Epic. It was
Oh,
fun.
nice.
And
I
a bit
haven't
of
actually
GTA
tried
5.
that either yet.
Which one? Sorry, I didn't hear. Civ 6 and...
GTA 5, which was also free on Epic.
Oh, no.
Ah, yes, very good, very good. Making the most of Tim Sweeney's generosity.
Yes.
Ooh, I watched a Linus... I might have seen it, Dave.
Did too.
I watched the
actually.
apology.
Yeah, it's the apology to Tim Sweeney from Linus Sebastian of Linus Tech Tips fame.
What was that? I did see the title, but I didn't actually watch the video. 'Cause I was at
So
work.
Tim
What was-
Sweeney basically... So the WAN show, which is Linus Tech Tips podcast...
Yeah.
He basically took secondhand information without verifying it,
Right.
and basically criticised Tim Sweeney for a statement he didn't make, or that was quoted woefully incorrectly.
Right.
So he thought that Tim Sweeney basically said that, I'm paraphrasing, SSDs in the PS5 are going to leave PC for dead. Well,
everyone thought he said that. Like,
it's
everyone
the best,
did.
best in the world. Or I can't remember his specific
He
words.
said that they were best in class.
Well, yeah,
Like,
no, that's what he
PlayStation
really
was-
said.
Yeah.
That's not what was heard by most
No,
people.
but what was interpreted was that like the PS5 is going to have the fastest SSD ever, and
I think it was something specific about the technology that in the PS5, the SSD technology would leave PC for dead. I think that's actually closer to what Linus thought.
See,
he
I
said.
remember seeing that everywhere and almost immediately going, nah. And I just didn't look into it any more than that. So
Like SSDs have been a big marketing point this time around. Undoubtedly, I've seen a lot of advertising or marketing for the consoles and SSDs, but
yeah.
But yeah, Linus, and this is why I like Linus, to be honest, because he took some secondhand information, rebroadcast it, or and basically got it wrong. A lot of his Twitter warriors went and then had a go at Tim Sweeney.
Screaming Fest, yeah. As
Yeah,
his Twitter.
Tim, as far as I can tell, took it pretty well and just corrected Linus again via Twitter, I believe. And then Linus kind of had to eat his words and issued an apology. So,
And explained why that SSD is actually going to be potentially better than anything that's in a PC. Because it's not just about the SSD, but the whole system working to get data much more efficiently.
yeah,
and quicker.
there's a lot less bottlenecks built into the PS5 architecture, which will
it's fancy
potentially have.
caching.
Yeah, and that'll potentially have a knock-on effect to PCs and stuff like that. But at the moment, if the technology is utilized properly, you are looking at games that are going to be just games that are almost seamless with their loading. But for the most part, since a lot of people will need to be developing for other machines, you're still going to see a lot of loading in a lot of games. But certain proprietary PlayStation games that don't need to worry about other systems and porting onto other things will have really, really good load times if the technology is to be believed, which we don't have any reason to doubt at the moment.
Yeah. So it was a whole lot of drama, but Linus, I've seen him do stuff, well, not stuff like this before, but been involved in quote unquote drama, and he squashes it pretty quickly and admits when he's wrong, and as everything on the internet, it was all blown out of proportion, but
Yeah, of course it was. Especially if Twitter was involved.
yeah, but to be honest, then I
nightmare.
did. It's funny we talked about Epic. I kind of went down the rabbit hole and went through Tim Sweeney's Twitter, did some reading up on Epic and their plans for PC and things like that, and dare I say it, I don't kind of have as negative an outlook on Epic as I once did. It kind of realigned my views a little bit too.
Look,
I
mean,
think, they're doing
I've
good
said
things.
it before that what Epic wants are noble goals. I just do not appreciate the methods that they're using to get from where we are to get to where they want to be.
Yeah.
And that's my biggest gripe. And unfortunately, it seems to be the one thing that they're not really willing to back down on.
Yeah, it's the method, and it's how many people are they going to lose on the way to achieving the goals.
Yeah.
Yeah, and realistically, they need the support. Like, if they're going to make, standards happen, they need people to accept them as standards and buy into them. And if they push people away, it's just,
They're talking about tearing down the walled garden between console and PC, which I'm all for. But then at the same time, they're creating another mini walled garden within just the PC space.
With exclusivity.
Yeah, which Tim is like, you can't have an exclusive game on the PC because the PC still runs it no matter what you have. But what they're doing is forcing people to download and run a certain type of launcher that they might not want to run.
It is a little hypocritical.
Yeah, it's very hypocritical. Yeah,
it's like, and it would be, it's one thing when Steam did it and they were the only launcher in town, like it was just them.
But it's because they got there first. So,
exactly, but now we've got like this situation where you got to download 1 million launchers to play games, and in fact, you're looking at how the Dragon Age Inquisition finally came to Steam, and I saw that and I thought, oh great, I don't need to worry
along
about
with a
having
few
it
other,
on
with
Origin.
a whole bunch of EA games, wasn't it?
Yeah, a whole bunch of
Mass
them.
Effect
But
2 and a couple other things. Yeah.
well, Mass Effect 2 returned, but the issue with at least I know with Dragon Age Inquisition, I haven't looked into the other ones, is that when you launch the game, you still gotta launch Origin.
Yeah,
we got a Uplay situation, and it's it's just crazy.
Well, it's just like we've talked about before. It's just there's a bunch of these launches, and companies can see that will help make them money and will help get their platform to be a platform that gets used. But yeah, it's just that thing where like now Steam has stuff like that where you open Rainbow Six and it opens Uplay to open Rainbow Six properly and stuff like that. But like you said with the Epic Store, I do think it's kind of worse that they're just sitting there, and like if you even consider games being on any other platform, it's like they're the mum that just slaps your hand and says, no, we've got food at home, we can't stop McDonald's. So
just with the, I don't know, thinking about it, a bit of a devil's advocate, if you have a game, like if you're a Ubisoft and you've got an online-only game, for instance, like Siege, you want to expand the exposure, you want to get as many buys as possible, so it makes sense that you go to Steam, which is the biggest platform for game sales. But then it is a game that you run, you maintain, they are your servers.
Yeah.
So I guess the work that you would have to put in to not... I mean, at least it's single sign-on. So if you launch something via... I don't know if it works with EA the same way, but if you launch Siege, it'll seamlessly open Uplay.
$5 to do it, but
but you don't have to sign into Uplay. Like Steam caches and does that for you, at least. Yeah. So I guess I can see from a technology standpoint why it is like that. I would like to see it be a bit more silent, so to speak, a bit more passive, so you don't even... Like, if I don't want to open Uplay, let there be a process running in the background, but I don't want to see it. I don't want to wait for it.
Yeah. I mean, like, because there are so many games that also run on the developer's own proprietary servers and have their own sign-in things, but that's just built into the game. Why do we need to launch a separate EXE for that? Like, surely they could just build Uplay into the game, right?
It can't be any worse than Battlefield, I want to say 4. Is that when they started with the web browser? Horrible web browser.
That was awful.
That was garbage.
I don't know if that's in 5 or Battlefield 1 or whatever it's called. Yeah, but
I'm pretty sure they realised it was a terrible idea.
Yeah, it was Garbo.
Yeah, because I've played 5-and-1 a bit, and I know that I haven't had to jump those hoops with either of them. So, yeah.
Yeah, I almost wonder if like the Uplay thing is just because Ubisoft tried to do the storefront, and so you have games tied to the launcher now, and so they kind of they feel like they have to have it a certain way because otherwise it will make it seem like your purchases don't exist anymore. I don't know. Maybe it's something to do with that. Why they're still dead set on keeping Uplay a thing.
I did kind of have the thought, because I've thought about this before because I played a bit of Siege. I did kind of have the thought that maybe it's like built to just run, like there's just some base level thing that was just like they start building it, and when they initially start building it, they build it to run on some kind of Uplay like network servicing, and that code for whatever that network servicing that has to go through, it just has to use it for some reason. Like they just dump it in there at the start, and it's just stuck there.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a Ubisoft game on Ubisoft servers. It makes sense that you have to authenticate with those servers, and the easiest way, I suppose, to do that is to make the user launch Uplay, even if you launch the game through Steam.
It's just one of the more frustrating ways. They could have done it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Speaking of frustrating clients...
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. Dave's love affair with League of Legends is about to come into question.
Yeah, Dave, I mean, why you still play that game is beyond me.
I don't know. As if anyone would play it like since launch.
I don't understand it. I have a King Rammus skin from beta, so, you know.
I know, and remember, you had it, and then you were sad that no one commented.
No one
understood what it meant to you.
They're all way too new to understand. Jamie, you'd have this skin too. It's like it's the worst design you've ever seen. It looks like a game. Well, it looks like a skin from like 10 years ago.
But it looks older than that somehow.
Is that where it was like they try to make him look like Bowser?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it's horrific.
It does look very 1990s, actually.
And they haven't touched it because it was the only skin to be released with to beta players.
Okay.
And the closed beta players too, so it's super rare. To the point where I found out if I sold my LOL account, that would get me a few $100s.
I feel like you're just trying to talk it up because you just wish someone cared.
No one did, yeah. And so, no. Sorry, Dave, I don't mean to hijack your thing, but I think the more important thing here is that no one recognised or acknowledged my 11 years commitment to League of Legends. That's a travesty.
Well, I mean...
Yeah, that is a travesty that you spent that long in League of
I feel like the only appropriate reward you could get is a gun with a single bullet in it.
They just mail it to you.
For King Rammus skin?
They're like, wow, you've been playing this game a long time. They hit the button, you get the award, it's sent to you like from Riot Games themselves.
Anyway, it has been around 10 years, and Dave's relatively new to it, and you're discovering some issues with the client, I believe.
Just a little picture this. You're enjoying a nice ranked game. I know two of you won't be picturing this. That's fine. No. Going, right, let's get into it. Let's go.
Ranked being where you play for sheep stations.
Yeah, basically. It's super important, guys. I need that, next level.
That's where you go if you want to get verbally abused, if I recall correctly.
Oh, you can go into any queue for that, yeah.
That's the whole
expanded.
Yeah. So we get into the ranked game, and then it just decides to crash. But I can still hear my teammates talking while I was on mic, one time with Josh, one time with Sam. And so I close the whole client down, I come back in, I get another couple of minutes in, then it does it again.
Yeah, the important thing for them is that you can talk to us. Nothing else.
But I can't
you don't want to play the game.
I can't play the game.
It. Oh.
And then another time, it wouldn't let me back in. I loaded back up the client, and it shows that they're still playing the game, but it won't let me in.
11 years they've been developing this.
I was going to say, it's such a smooth interface that they've been working on for this.
It's amazing. Yet they spent time changing some of the things instead of having words. Oh, look, it's a pretty icon. Who cares, right?
Yeah, when you have to ask your teammates in the loading screen, are you still in the loading screen or are you in the game?
Yeah. Yes.
Like, that's just not acceptable in a competitive title.
Like, I have anxiety anyway, but that just makes me even more anxious. I'm sitting there and I'm going, it says 99% or 100%. Are you guys in? Have we started the game? I think there was once we were just sitting there. I was just talking, and the guys were in and moving, and I just was still in the loading screen, had no idea. Because some people still try and run on a potato, so you can have a slow loading time.
Well, that said, it gave you a lot of leniency yesterday when you had to restart your entire computer to get it to work.
Yeah,
we were in the loading screen. You disconnected. No one knows other than us because we're on voice chat with you that you've disconnected. And it stayed at 90%, and you got in. Like, it gives a lot of leeway for someone who's disconnected during loading to reconnect. But then all that does is agitates the other team.
Because they're sitting there waiting.
Yeah, or even your own teammates if they don't know that it's... Yeah. And that's why, in the load screen, they removed the individual load times from players' avatars.
Oh, is that why it's not there? I was actually wondering why it wasn't.
Because you used to be able to tell who had the potato.
Yeah, so now it's a collective. So, like, you can only assume that it was stuck at 90% because 9 out of 10 people were ready to go.
Yeah. And you're just waiting for...
But yeah, so, like, in keeping with the league ethos of ranting at people, if someone could see in the loading screen that you're the reason they had to wait an extra 30 seconds... then straight off the bat they could just abuse you for it. So
and
that was handy.
Would. Yeah.
I mean, I will admit that like my experience thus far has actually been like a little bit of a letdown. I was expecting more abuse, less silence, and it may just be because of the level that I'm playing.
Yeah, once you get higher,
Where it's like a lot of them are people like at my level, and if they're not at my level, they're people with Smurf accounts removing people from existence at my level.
People at your level who are legitimately beginners haven't yet had enough exposure to become,
like,
literally,
I tried
and I'm
to
not
talk some
exaggerating.
trash last time, and just no one bit. I couldn't get anyone on the line. So
yeah, you got to get to a certain point where people actually care about the game, and they've played it way too much, and so like if they start to lose, they get like that frustration in the pit of their soul.
I feel like this is a personal attack.
And if you're just saying that because you understand exactly what I'm talking about. You felt it, and you know that it's a real thing. And so they play the game like their life is on the line, and if you start to slow them down even just a little bit, they get really mad. But to do that, you got to play for a little bit to kind of get to where they're still stuck in their level that they can't break through.
The incredible thing is, now I think about it, I have watched everyone who I've played with, who I've known personally, turn from, just reasonable people who don't flame or, to legitimately, like, even if it's, and this has happened to me too, that, this stuff, it never bothered you. We wouldn't have dreamt of the level of toxicity that's in the game now when, like, Jamie used to play and Steven, like, back when the game was fairly new.
Right.
But now, it's like Jamie, he self-diagnosed himself becoming, someone he didn't like by playing the game.
Out.
Yeah. And I've watched that. Now that you mentioned it, and I hate to say it, Dave, but I've seen, like, people that I would never imagine shit-talking in a game just, like, start to just break down. It grinds away at that, that kindness.
I will admit that I feel like I feel like I won't descend into that because A, I'm just not that invested, and B,
you're a troll out of the gate.
Yeah, exactly. I'm so used to trying to take it out of everyone anyway that anything that they say is just going to give me fuel to tell them that their mother makes pancakes terribly and shit like that.
See, so. I think that the main thing about League of Legends is that, like, one, you can talk to the enemy team. So that's like, a prime...
Misstep number one.
It's very tempting. Two, if you start to suck, or if you are in like a high stake part of the game and you die, the game gives you a lot of downtime to tell the other team in excruciating detail what you and their mother did the night before.
Oh,
And-
it's late game.
And then 3, it's such a team game that if someone isn't on the same page as you, or you feel that someone is slowing you down, and then the other team is kicking your ass and they're laughing at you, like that just exacerbates things, and it's really, really gross combination.
You can
And,
disable all chat, and you can actually now mute your own team.
Yeah, I've been
Which
trying to
does
figure out how to turn
remove-
all that
Which is
stuff
what I
back
would
on.
do if,
So,
if for any reason I went back, I would disable all chat and mute my team. I would.
A lot of people do. A lot of pros or people that really do want to climb the ladder, so to speak. Well, yeah, literally climb the ladder in ranks. That, like, a lot of them, the first thing they'll do, and you watch a lot of streamers do this, is just mute all. First thing they do when they get in the game is mute all,
Yeah, it makes sense.
because they know that, yeah, it'll get to them. People just flaming them, or
I
you
suppose
can have the,
especially
you
if
can have
you're a
the
big
toughest.
streamer.
You can
Because
have
if
the
you're a big
toughest
streamer and
mental.
everyone knows who you are.
Oh, look, streamers, like some streamers that I watch don't play with a delay and then get angry when
They get
they
stream
get
sniped.
stream sniped,
Oh,
or they don't cover the in-game minimap
yeah.
and stuff like that. If they're a jungler, so like it's just, well, can you really get angry? I know it sucks that you have to do this and that people do stream snipe, but
Yeah.
it's a bit weird.
You know what's crazy to me? Just stream sniping in general and people getting angry about it. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, like, you're just playing a video game, and if, like, you know, they don't matter. Games do not matter. And I don't care how pro you are, you're not at a tournament, you're just playing a game. And if someone stream snipes you because you're very popular, whoops, you probably shouldn't have been streaming then if you didn't want
Yeah.
people to see what you were doing. Or, like Josh was saying, play with a delay. Like, it's just, man, I don't know.
I get
People take this stuff
frustration.
way too personal.
I think we've all been invested in a game
Sure.
to a
Oh,
certain
yeah.
degree. But yeah, I think if you have measures to remove the potential for someone to ruin your game, like by stream sniping, then yeah, like you're silly. You got no right or reason to get angry when the inevitable happens.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the crux of this whole subject matter is that sometimes the client turns out to be totally against you and just
Oh,
ruins
yeah,
your day.
absolutely. It does.
Even though surely this
does.
game, after 11 years of consistent updates, should be perfect by now. You would have
No,
assumed.
no, let's go ahead and release like 4 or 5 other games instead.
Only 11 years old.
Well, I'm guesstimating because we're in our 10th season, but including
I feel like
beta.
it's older.
If it is, it wouldn't be by very much.
I feel like it's old enough for me to have stood there the other day and gone, my God, Josh, you bought this on DVD.
Oh, that's
Held
right.
up
Yeah,
his
you did
copy
find that
was
on my
sitting-
shelf, didn't you?
Sitting on his shelf. I was just like, I didn't even know that happened.
I did say, Jamie, did you get that in the end, or was it just Stephen and I who got the
Just
physical?
you and Steve.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't care enough. Even then. Okay.
It was a premonition.
It got a physical. It got like proper released in 2009. So I guess that's without beta and stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah,
because
okay,
I
so,
quit in
yeah.
2010. So I was like,
Wow. That is really early in the game, actually, yeah.
yeah, I know like the date. I reckon it would have been around June 2010.
That's weird, though, isn't it? Really, I mean, it took 12 months for the game to degrade community-wise, to the
Yeah,
point
well,
where you
It wasn't even
you quit.
it wasn't even the community really that pushed it to me. Certainly that was a factor, but the main thing was just I was just frustrated with myself, and I was frustrated with the game, and because we played it so much, it was like I was suffering massive burnout from it, and I kept playing it, and it's like it's I don't know, it's just you get to a breaking point where you're like, no, I'm done with this, I can't do this anymore. And I have never gone back. And I've been
Good
better
on
for
you.
it.
That's good. I wish I had your strength.
Don't leave me, Josh. Not now.
Because Sam's bound to leave. Sam comes and goes, so we need to abuse him while he's around. I mean, abuse him in the sense that, you know, he carries us sometimes.
Oh, Right? It's just
Yeah,
like, what, you
not
wanna
abusing to
rail
make
in
him
League
leave
of
quicker.
Legends? You want to like just say horrific things to your brother in League of Legends specifically? Is that where this is going? But yeah, no.
Mind you, the closest Sam and I get to arguments as brothers nowadays is in League of Legends.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
When someone steals the other's jungle,
Oh, I swear if he steals
like
one
you know,
my buff.
it's kind of said in jest, but not really. There's this undercurrent of seething animosity.
Oh, no, he well and truly knows when he's pissed me off, and vice versa.
Yeah,
And the best
I'm just
way
sitting
to
there on
do
the
it is
outside
with
going,
you.
oh, absolutely. It's a great
It's like
tool for that.
reminds me of playing Dungeons and Dragons with a couple of siblings I know.
All right, let's not get too deep into the lore of outside of the podcast.
I
That
want to
reminds
talk
me-
about. Yeah, sorry, you
Oh,
have
I
a
was just going to
segue.
say that like that reminds me of it's not much of a segue of like that Chinese guy who they were playing CS:GO and a dude like killed one guy. They were in just a
yeah,
LAN cafe
yeah.
and the guy
Right.
freaking stabbed him in the head with a
Oh,
machete.
Yeah. Yeah, like
We,
he had that machete. He was ready too. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Before we started recording, actually, it's probably recording. We were talking about UFC fighters and Mark Hunt. Mark Hunt plays a fair bit of online stuff, and he got beaten in, I want to say, COD,
right.
and actually went to the lengths of tracking down the guy that was abusing him, not knowing who he was. And he literally got... I'll see if I can dig up the article, but he literally got a police warning, like the police were called and everything, because he rocked up on that dude's doorstep.
For those of you that don't know,
Super pissed.
for those of you that don't know, Mark Hunt is like I think he's 6'4", 6'3", 6'4". He's about as wide
And
as a
stacked.
truck, like Kiwi dude who just looks like he could probably like wishbone you with your legs. So
Oh, well, you see him do one punch. He's literally known in the UFC, or was, for
his
his
walk-off
knockouts.
knockouts. Yeah.
Just pop,
So,
and then walks away because he
yeah.
knows that they're not getting up.
So he was watching Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back as a kid, and he'd be
No,
like,
I
"One
feel
day
like
that will
it.
be me."
Yeah. He learned those
I will
tricks.
go.
Yeah.
I will go to the house of the person who says a mean thing to me on the internet, and I will punch him and beat him up.
Like, can you imagine opening the door and realizing, like, yes, he's physically intimidating, but then the added extra bonus
That he
of
found
pooping yourself because you recognize him and what he does. Like that, I would never talk smack in a game again. Like,
Just,
someone
whatever
obviously
that game
doxed
was, that
the
guy's just
kid.
stopped playing.
Yeah.
what if you
someone-
don't recognize him? What if he's just a big man at your door?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Physically, he's still intimidating. Like, that would still be like, yeah, someone knocking on the door going, hey, you talking smack? What you do to
Okay.
my mum?
Hang on. How did he track this guy's address down?
I don't
He
know.
got one
I
of
can't
the
interest-
viewers
I
of his
don't know.
stream to dox him somehow.
Wow.
Yeah. Same
So
reason,
power of the
same
internet.
way that people get
All
swatted
cool
and
moves
stuff.
all round. Just
Power of the
completely
internet.
classy guy.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, he has big anger issues.
I can
Um,
tell.
I
That
haven't
never
heard
happens
about
on the
swatting
internet.
happening in a while, actually. That's scary stuff.
Swatting.
Because people have died.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure gamers have died.
Yeah, because it's America. Like when 6 armed police turn up at your door and they've been told that you're some kind of terrible needs to be put down guy, and they and they hoe their foot through it and are ready to shoot you because you don't turn around properly. Yeah, yeah.
You know
Which
what
I guess
really?
is a sad segue to America. Because
Oh.
we were umming and ahhing about talking about it. But I think, Jamie, you might have been peeing when this was decided.
Was it decided?
We're
Josh? I'm
going
not
to
really
talk about.
sure.
We're not going to get political, but
No.
there's no denying the current climate in America is
America's
affecting
busted.
the video game industry as well.
Yeah.
We
Oh, yeah,
all have
that's-
our own takes on how video game companies are handling it and
Handling it.
approaching it. But there are a few significant things happening, or as a flow-on effect of, it's all in the wake of George Floyd. Really, that was the catalyst. So like Call of Duty Season 4, I didn't even know they were up to Season 4, but that's been delayed.
Yeah, a lot of
we've
things
got,
have been
like-
delayed because a lot of companies don't want to market their product when there's other more important things to be talking about. So
Yeah, that's the marketing. That's the general marketing tone.
I still feel weird.
PS5,
That
I think,
got
has
that,
been
like I am brand feeling to it. So
yeah. So like Rockstar turned off Red Dead Redemption Online and GTA for a
5.
couple of hours.
yeah,
All social media and websites have gone black. Like literally.
that was for the day. Yeah. Yeah,
So
that was like
you
for Blackout Tuesday, I think it was.
Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So it's a bit of a shit show, for good reason.
Yeah, I mean,
I think there's a message that needs to be delivered and received. Unfortunately, I think the receiving party's just too busy up his own ass.
yeah, yeah.
But
yeah.
the Neon City Daily, we're still here. The
I'm even back.
Cyberpunk,
It's amazing.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. Dave's here this week, so that's good.
the Cyberpunk. I think we talked about it
Yeah,
last
Not
week.
City Wire. That's been pushed
Yeah.
back as well because obviously this has like become fairly worldwide now. So yeah, even them as a company have gone, nah, maybe not. June 11th.
And there's still a virus going on as well. Like there's other
Oh
things.
yeah,
happening.
no, that yeah,
So-
Well, this will
The
probably
world
prolong the
is-
virus, if anything.
yeah.
So yeah, look, it's a sad situation. We acknowledge that it's happening. And we'll report the news as it relates to video games. But
Yeah, well, I mean, if we're going to be,
we'll stick to our wheelhouse.
But if we're going to be addressing the protests and the police brutality and all that's going on in America, I think we should kind of go on record saying that Black Lives Matter, and the stuff that's been going on is it's not great, and we stand in solidarity with the people who are having to deal with the brutality, and I understand everything going on there in America at the moment has reached a boiling point, and I am not surprised to see that there's been such a humongous historical movement going on at the moment.
Well, this is the first time that all 50 of their mainland states have effectively agreed on anything since America becoming independent,
founded.
basically. Yeah. So it's a pretty big deal, and it is.
And of
something
course,
that
closer
needs
to home
be said.
is the again the catalyst being, I think, what happened in America, but specific to Australia, there is of course marches against systemic violence against Indigenous people as well. So
It's hit
which
the
is-
planet as a whole, and it's a fairly consistent message as well. Like, this isn't something that's getting lost in translation and coming up differently in any other countries. It's not shifting itself around. It's fairly specific.
Yeah, it's all pretty consistent. And I just hope that things get resolved without horrible tragedies happening. Like it's such a dangerous situation, and
Oh, it's everyone's fingers on the trigger, and I think it seems like things have boiled over now, but I think if something were to happen, and that's what I'm saying, the heightened risk of something happening again of similar nature, is really high as well now. It's only going to compound the issue, but I think it's really going to blow up. And I think people, unfortunately, there are some people looking for a reason to
there's
escalate
definitely
things.
some people out there for their own, I guess, almost enjoyment on this, like taking advantage of the situation almost. That is definitely a thing that we can't ignore as well. And
But you got writers and things like that who it's not doing anyone any favors.
Yeah, I do feel like it's unfortunate, but really hard to avoid having a lot of those activities just being lumped together as one thing, one mentality, one like.
That's what they're saying. Writers and protesters are vastly different things.
Yeah.
But as it relates to video games, it has been a fairly polarizing topic in that people
for sure.
don't know how to respond to how their favorite developers or publishers are responding, if that makes sense. So they'll take a certain action, they'll take a game offline, or they'll put a statement out. And then it's just sad to see, but this isn't unique to this situation. It's just the internet in general where everyone has a voice and they can hide behind a keyboard.
Yeah.
That, again, there's just no unification. There's no, I support you. Like, it's been overwhelmingly good from what little I've seen in my little world, but, you know, it kind of, I don't know, it makes me tired, to be honest. It's just,
Yeah.
Look, me as being a Twitter guy, I have sifted through a lot this week.
oh,
like
yeah, I thought Reddit was bad, but I'd hate to be on Twitter.
No, it's and it is hard to get through. But if like it's one of those things where there's a lot of people out there. If you kind of, I've seen people out there saying like, you know, can we just move on from this? And that is not the way to take it. Like, that's not the way to attack it. We can't just move on from this. It's not a thing. There's got to be, there's a lot of things that need to happen. But it's also one of those things where it's like, if you're sick of seeing this on, you know, when you log on to Instagram or whatever, like, how do you think a lot of the people that almost effectively live with this kind of stuff regularly deal?
Yeah.
Like, we like, it's a window that we see.
They're not seeing it on a screen. They're looking at it is literally out their actual window.
Yeah,
it's real life for them.
So it's a very real thing. And I can't, like, for the actual in-world events, in world, I sound like a cool guy. The
We're all
IRL
cool guys,
events,
Nick. It's okay.
like that are going on. The thing that really sucks is that it's hard to see an end to them, because everything is just in such
complicated issue.
Complicated, just tumultuous state at the moment. And then, like, like I said, we're not even in the country. We're off in another. We're on like the other side of the planet, and it's kind of spread around everywhere. And I feel like a lot of countries are taking this better than other ones. Like we actually, Australia, we had a lot of marches today, and I think from what I saw, like the everything was generally positive. The worst that kind of came out of it was a couple of premiers saying like, we've still got a pandemic and now you're all hanging out. This sucks. Like, and that was like, from what I kind of saw today, that was really the only negative that came out of it, which is still an unfortunate negative, but it's the one negative.
It took the courts it took the courts of appeal to actually allow them.
Yeah, because it's
protest.
like just breaking every pandemic rule that we've set in place.
Yeah, so what point
strangely enough, they
freedom
were happy to let the 5G protests go ahead.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So, you know, make of that of what you will.
Yeah,
Jeez, even I would have cracked some kneecaps at that.
Oh man, I feel like people should have been arrested at the anti-5G protest for sure. Like, that to me, that's a fireable offence.
No.
Yeah, like, just stop.
Dumb.
Like, just smack.
Kneecap them and say
Smack.
no. It's like,
I never said I'd be a good police officer.
No kneecaps for you.
yeah, well, you know what? You sound about on par for the course for a lot of them.
Let's not go down that far.
Only if
That's
they
unkind,
complain
that's
out loud
unkind,
that their conspiracy videos aren't loading fast enough, and you remind them that 5G is what makes that possible. Yeah.
But no,
Anyway, let's move on to prettier versions of the world. Microsoft Flight Sim.
That is a very pretty version of the
I
world.
wanted to talk about this for a while.
Yeah,
and
I keep
pushing
seeing it move
but
along.
Yeah, it's I've been kind of waiting for Dave, because you're a bit of a sim man, Dave, and I just don't know if that includes airborne cars
It hasn't for many years.
with wings and no wheels.
Years ago, I used to do a little bit of simming. Look, when I had an 8086, I had like a wireframe sim, so it was just some lines on a screen. I was like, this is amazing.
Nice.
Now they look fantastic. It's amazing the tech that goes into them now.
It looks like real satellite imagery.
It is.
photography.
It probably is real satellite, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was. I thought it was actually drawing from satellite topography
Oh, maybe it is.
to draw everything out.
I was under the impression that they're also using like a streaming service to stream like really, really high resolution photos so it could be as realistic as possible.
Yeah.
Well, they're also doing live weather as well as an option,
Interesting.
which it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I
like next time I hear
miss
there's
the,
a hurricane anywhere and I've got that game, I'm flying directly into it. So.
I wonder. I really
I hope
miss
you have no
getting
passengers.
old Microsoft Flight Sim games.
becoming
and
a
just
pilot
having
is a
the
really good
manual
way to
being
not
full
die
of
alone.
stuff. Like,
Sorry,
remember the Microsoft Flight Sim manuals?
Yes.
They were huge.
Like,
were
I am
massive.
sad that we don't get those anymore.
Oh, that
The
was
Falcon
so
4 manual, I think, was epic in its nature, from what I hear. It's like a binder.
Yeah.
A
It
massive,
was
massive
huge.
A4 binder.
good. Yeah.
You might as well have
There's
been
a lot of
learning to
that
fly
stuff
an
in
actual
general,
plane.
like cover art and
I do like a good
booklets.
manual. Good times.
I still have. I think it's sitting next to me. I do my Baldur's Gate 2 manual. That like ring bound thing. It's just sitting there being full of D&D art. That I just, I know I will never see its like again.
I buy a collector's edition every now and then for mostly the figures and stuff nowadays, but
Art
I
books,
do
man.
miss just, I don't know, like part of the joy, this is a bit of a tangent, but part of the joy of buying a game in, maybe high school, college, where you've saved up for it, you've gone and got it. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes you go at lunchtime, particularly in college, go to town, buy the game. You can't play it while you're the rest of the school day, but you can get out the booklet and you'd look over it, you'd read up on it. Like that,
Reading the game manual in the car ride home used to be like just the best.
Jedi
I had an
Academy
hour
CD.
bus ride home from town back to where I used to live after college, and reading, it was a Buck Rogers like D&D game, and I was reading through the manual, super excited to get home and bust it out.
Oh man.
Oh,
Those
Dave,
are
you've
good
shown your
times.
age so much in this podcast.
It came on 5.25-inch 360k floppy drive discs.
Wow, was there a special spot in the horse and cart to put it on the way home? Or-
I mean, I had to shovel some coal. And there was probably 50 or 60 feet of snow. Definitely.
Really ripping into Dave
Definitely.
here. Josh.
Yeah, the walk
I feel
through
like
glass
it's his
to get
time.
it. Yeah.
Oh, I had to get up, 5 hours before I went to bed. I was working down the mine 30 hours a day. It was
Yeah.
Do you- what about like that really old copy protection where it was like you would start the game up and it's like open your manual, go to
yeah.
page 15 and type in the color that is the third from the left here, and you're like, oh geez, okay.
we got
Were
around
just
that by
CD keys
photocopying
or-
those. We used to photocopy
I
the
remember
manuals.
being really excited where when it got to a point where you didn't have to have the CD in the drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the no CD
cheap man's
crack.
DRM.
Remember getting the no CD crack for things? It's like hard
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
gold.
Even if you'd like bought it, you'd just go, I don't have to chuck that in every time I want to play. I'll just chuck this on there.
First time my dad ever had something even remotely like the Birds and Bees talk. Because he that was
Okay.
Mum's job. Dad
Right.
avoided it at all costs.
Yeah.
But Dad had to talk to me because they had Net Nanny, I think, installed.
Right.
Jeez,
And I
remember
went
that.
to I can't remember. You guys probably remember, but it's like the No CD Crack website at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
It was notorious for
It's like
its
CD Crack World or something like that.
Something
yeah,
like that.
notorious
yeah.
for its like pornographic pop-ups. And
Oh,
things
yeah,
like
no.
that.
It had some
Yeah, I
ads.
remember.
And so
Some
Dad not
ads.
knowing how to interpret the Net Nanny report, just saw like, oh, he's got a friend over from school and they've spent an hour on these donkey websites. And,
Triple X Donkey D.
oh man, I was almost in
yeah.
tears trying to explain to him that I wasn't looking up
Oh,
grandmother
well.
porn or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't think
I still remember
their
my
porn was
almost
particularly
exact experience. I think it was Newgrounds, and they genuinely had ads for like animal porn from the Netherlands, and I still specifically remember a picture of just this smiling blonde next to a massive erect horse dick, and
Wow.
and I never went to it because I think I was like maybe 15, and even at the time I was just like, nah. I don't
Game
wanna-
copy
no.
world.
Hold on a second,
What?
blonde girl,
I think so.
and you mentioned your OnlyFans subscription is to a blonde girl.
No, I didn't. My OnlyFans subscription is to a British woman. She's a brunette.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I smell
Let's narrow it
bestiality.
down a bit
Trust
more.
me, I know exactly who I'm subscribed to on OnlyFans. Don't worry about that, Josh.
Yeah, well, some of us
gu-
can't be
guys,
so lucky.
I got great news for you. Check this out. Game Copy World still exists, and
Wow.
it's still got adult ads on it. Just like we left it.
Wow.
Just another slice of nostalgia.
Fortunately, Goatsy doesn't exist in its true form anymore, but
Not this true form, though.
but I do have a Goatsy email address because someone bought the domain a few years ago, and
Wow.
basically turned it into an email server.
Wow.
So-
Wow. Does Lemon Party have one? Because that'd be interesting.
I don't know, Nick. Why don't you go to the website and tell us?
Well, I've got a mechanical keyboard, man. I can't do it. I'd kill
You
the
can.
audio.
It would actually verify that you're going.
I remember you used to try to like send me links to Lemon Party all the time, Josh. And you,
you
like,
used
you'd
to
have it
yeah.
like you'd have it like disguised as a
I know,
link,
but you
like,
cottoned on.
like the moment you posted something that was tiny URL, and I said, "What's this?" and you said, "Take a look," and I went, "No, I knew."
I specifically remember you trying to do that to him at LANs. Lemon Party not all
Yeah.
does still exist, though. Let's just chuck that out there.
Okay, in its truest, purest form.
Oh, no, because it lets you sit there for a couple seconds, and now I've been immediately redirected to a webcam of a chick getting a purple dildo off her ass. So
Okay.
that was sudden.
But at least we didn't
Oh,
swear.
class.
That took me by
least we
surprise.
did-
I was actually like leaning forward a little bit, hit my keyboard, then suddenly it was BAM! Butthole! So
While we're
How
on the
good is the
subject of
internet?
things Josh is going to edit out, the other one from high school, the classic meat spin. Like,
Yeah, you love that one too.
it was just so
See, I missed all
comical.
these things because the internet didn't do much when I was at college or high school.
well.
Josh,
High
is
school
doing
we
Used
things
to
didn't
at
them or
home.
new to them?
Yeah.
What's that, Dave? Were you new to them or used to them?
I didn't have them; they didn't exist,
Oh,
or I wasn't
right.
aware of them. I did have know someone at college who was. We were sitting using the computers in the library, and he was downloading some disturbing stories, shall we say, and printing them out at the printer, just like next to other people.
Sweet.
Nice,
Ooh.
nice.
Sweet.
That's ballsy.
You gotta really like admire just the balls on a guy who's like in the computer room,
Yeah.
in computer class,
Yeah.
and he's like, you know what? I'll just print out a couple of titty pictures. The teacher won't notice. It'll be fine.
I used to be really innocent and print Jennifer Aniston. She's my crush. Still is.
Gosh.
Could be worse. Oh, I think I told you guys about Willy Worries, didn't I?
Yeah.
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 What if that's still a thing?
I don't know.
You can check.
It was
that.
educational, so I'm sure it is. You can pretend it was
Really?
educational
Well,
anyway.
yeah.
It was. You had a very well trained sex education teacher there. Josh.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Didn't
Okay.
you have a sex ed teacher, Nick, who just like rocked up with a banana and she peeled the banana and there was like a dick inside it?
Yeah, that was weird because everyone was
Yeah.
expecting it to be like a banana, and then she put
A banana, yeah. You
the
think it
condom
would
on
be
the
a
banana because that's what you always assume is going to happen if you've seen any movie past like 1995, and so you just like that's what happens in these classes.
I
They
was
have
I was
banana,
a
they
year
put thing
behind
on
you
there,
in
but
high
then
school,
They're
Nick,
just like,
and-
nah, check it out, dick. So-
I was a year behind you in high school, and I think it shows how well that class went because they never did a sex
Yeah,
ed class
'cause
for us.
they did do it for you guys. What the hell?
The
I
closest
remember a
we
guy
had,
discovering that, what was it? Ultra Vista?
Alta
Alta
Vista.
Vista.
Alta Vista?
Yeah.
But he accidentally typed in Ultra Vista.
Oh,
That did not end well.
this is the best view.
I was gonna say, what would that even?
Sounds like what Nick may have seen just before.
Very possible.
By the way,
There were hills and
Willy
valleys.
Worries is still a very educational website.
There you go.
Well, that's great.
You know what has disappeared, and I'm sad about it? Urinalpoop.org.
I remember urinal poop.
Urinalpoop.org.
What about
was just-
ratemypoo.com?
I think Rate My Poo's still there. But
I
you-
should submit.
You probably
Sounds
could.
like very us.
You've already
that kind of
submitted
website.
to the
Yeah. Yes.
I think I have put one on here actually before.
Oh,
wow.
I do like
Okay,
that
so it
insinuates that you are currently browsing ratemypoo.com.
Oh, I am. I went there, and the
Good.
first thing that came up, because the first thing it shows is the biggest piece of shit, but it's actually
Wow.
Trump.
Oh, wow.
It's going to have a picture of the Riot Games client. What are you talking about?
Oh.
completely unrelated, but did you hear that The Outer Worlds is coming out on the Switch?
Oh God, yes, I did.
You can play that on toilet.
My God,
Apparently
you
they
can,
make quite a few
actually.
concessions though.
Yeah, so many. It looks like it's from 1997. It looks bad.
Really?
Like it looks bad. Like it looks like Fallout 3 on a potato. Like that's how bad it looks. Like I sat there and watched a comparison video, and it was literally like half to half screen of just like what they thought was an average PC. I don't know exactly what that meant. And the Switch version, and I'm watching like lighting effects that just don't exist, textures that don't exist, snapping that suddenly happened, and I'm just like, I was thinking about getting that on the Switch because I thought I might play it on a portable format. I don't think I'm doing that anymore because that looks so bad, like so bad.
Switch
and you
just
know, a
doesn't
game
have the horsepower to drive a game like
you
that. Though.
know a game has to look horrific for me to say that no, I'm good because of it. Like I've played some miserable looking games as long as they're fun, but it just nah.
Look, it's fair to go, hey, yeah, the Nintendo Switch is an underpowered system compared to, you know, the Xbox or the PS4. However, if they can port The Witcher 3 over to the Switch and it still looks good, clearly corners are cut, but it still looks faithful to it, then you could do The Outer Worlds. Come on.
You would have thought so, but
they've got that Microsoft.
not.
Actually, no,
and
it's
apparently,
not Microsoft.
and
It's,
apparently,
Take-Two who published that.
I think so. But apparently, not only does it look like garbage, but it runs like garbage on the Switch.
No.
That is like they made those concessions. They didn't even get a reason out of it. It just looks bad, and apparently it just plays bad, and it is just bad. So yeah, I'm genuinely not picking it up on there because, and like I said, I thought about it. I like the idea. I just didn't like get right into it straight away, and I didn't spend the time in it. So I was like, maybe I'll do that if it's portable. Not anymore. Not going to happen. Just not worried about it now.
I
That's how
really
bad
wonder
it
if this is just another instance of a company going, hey, we're going to do a Switch port of this. We'll farm it out to another company to do the port, and they just didn't do a great job. Because I doubt it was Obsidian doing it. Because, like, I mean, Obsidian aren't the most technically competent game developer in the first place, right?
No.
Surely they would do QA on their own game, though. Even if they got someone else to play.
I mean, sometimes. But I don't know. I can't really speak about like the performance, and I literally only know about this game because you guys brought it up before we
I chucked
started
it on
recording.
the board. Yeah. No, I kind of had to. I literally watched that stuff for it today, and I was it was so just wrenching. I was like, wait a minute. Oh, that's bad. And like, I can't. I'm not even gonna blame the Switch for not being as powerful as anything else. That's not a thing. It's a portable wheel.
Nah.
It's basically a portable. We all know that. We know what's expected of it. Obviously, whoever was porting this really didn't understand what to do with it. So,
or didn't care.
Yeah, that's the other side of the dice, maybe.
Yeah, it could just be like a quick and cheap, dirty port.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess I won't get it on the Switch then.
Yeah. I just, it just unless
sucks
of
if
course
this is your only option.
Yeah, like unless of course something comes up that's like, oh wait, we've realised we did a boo boo. Yeah, I'm gonna avoid it.
Would you rather this port of the Outer Worlds, or would you prefer the Cooking Mama game that got pulled by the publisher because they said we didn't want this published?
I think I'd prefer to have fiery piss, like what people are experiencing in The Sims 4 at the minute.
Yeah.
I actually know nothing about it. Josh brought that one up. I just know that I read it and I was like, that sounds like something I want to talk about.
This is like a 30-second bit, but it popped up today, so I had to add it to the rundown. That there's a new patch to The Sims 4, and suddenly the Sims are peeing fire instead of urine.
I thought you were going to say it was a patch to specifically add that, like they meant to, And I was wondering what their game plan was.
Find their way
Yeah.
into The Sims at last.
Yeah.
Well, Maxis haven't addressed it, so we're assuming that it's a bug and not a feature.
Finally, you can woohoo and have consequences. Yeah.
I thought
I
Maxis
don't-
were dead.
I don't
Oh,
think
jeez,
it.
Probably.
Yeah.
No.
I
well,
thought Maxis
It's,
got killed ages ago, and Sims 4 was just internally developed by E EA.
Oh, probably. That is like, I assume that would be part of the reason, like, especially with EA publishing it, why they have
Yeah,
like
that's
a
why
million
they-
fully priced expansion packs with nothing.
That's
in
why
them.
they're peeing fire.
You have to now pay
They're still
$5
going.
to not pee fire in the expansion. Not peeing fire.
No.
no, they're still
$99.
going, I believe.
Maybe they brought it. Maybe they resurrected the name because they did shut it down.
I am
I'm not
like
gonna. I'm not gonna read Wikipedia articles
I'm
live
generally
on the
well
air,
known
but
for
yeah.
confusing myself about what
The
studios
studio
have what
was
names,
closed
so-
down in 2004.
Mm-hmm.
and everyone died.
But yeah, it's seemingly the
In a room with
last
no doors.
one.
That's it.
Oh, okay, so in 2012 at
That's it.
GDC, EA announced the
No
new
good
Sim
things to-
City, along with a new logo for the Maxis brand, and it became one of their 4 primary labels, replacing the EA Play brand.
Okay, but
Oh, and
I think-
Maxis branding returned in 2013.
Okay. So they did shut it down
So,
and they did bring it
Are
back.
they still
Well,
just
so their
like...
studio is shut down, but they're still, yeah.
So I'm
They're
assuming
slapping,
this
they're
is
slapping
just
the
like,
label on things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
a label that they've put on something else.
Trying to polish a turd
It's
so
like
instead of
Captain
releasing it with
Morgan's
the EA
tricking
label.
everyone. It's Captain Morgan, if you read the label, turns out it's not actually rum, it's rum-flavoured alcohol, so who knows what it is, it's just masquerading as rum. So this is now what Maxis is to me. Maxis is now the Captain Morgan of video game developers.
Maxis is rum-flavored video games.
Rum-flavoured video games. I have played a lot of their video games while being rum-flavoured myself.
Well, it's like EA being game flavored gambling. It's fine.
The thing is, EA don't
I like
help
that
themselves.
No,
Some of the
they've got
social media
filthy
people need to be
mandibles.
fired.
Yeah. Something,
Look,
like,
it hurts
something
me
has
because
gone incredibly
SimCity
wrong.
was my first ever game. So to hear that, Maxis has been brought down to that, it's just sad. Anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
they-
interesting. Actually, that's a good plug for our indie spotlight. I think
Oh, yes.
we spoke to Josh Cheeseness Burns, and that will be out the day after you're listening to this. Definitely tune in because he has worked and left many a developer, and now he's a one-man band. But he's got some great insight into the game making process.
Yeah, we had a really nice talk with him, and just it was fascinating to hear about his career and where it's taken him and where he is now.
Yeah, and the effect that of some of the smaller studios that he's worked for closing down has had on him.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So that's definitely worth a listen. Anyway,
Check
quick
it out.
plug over.
But yeah, I think that might be a good ending point for this evening, gentlemen.
Looks like it.
Yeah,
Oh, I thought we were done. I thought that was the outro.
Josh thought he did an outro. What a stupid.
No. Hold on. I'm really curious to know what the Project Cars 3 trailer has got Sim Nerds ranting about.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I've been slightly involved with all the Project Cars games because they had, they got community involved. I actually made some money on the first one because you put some in, and then when the first one sold really well, got some cash out of it. And they had open development for the second one, so you could test and do stuff with bugs and stuff like that.
Paid better than Naughty Dog.
But the third one has been largely in-house. They've probably selected a few people who were really good on the forums.
Yeah, right.
But the trailer makes it look much more arcade. Like
Oh.
Project Cars 1 and 2, depending who you talk to, it's a sim. Yes, people disagree on the physics and stuff, but that's because everyone has their favourite game and, raises their little flags and pitchforks and stuff.
Yeah,
To a
the
casual observer like me, yeah, I'd say that Project Cars is certainly a sim.
Yeah, for sure. I'm terrible at it, so I assume that it needs more dedication than a casual game for me.
Yeah, very much so. But the trailer for the newest one just shows like a lot of arcadey features in terms of upgrading cars, meeting little targets in each race, short races, things like that.
Surely that's not the kind of thing you want to dumb down if you're going for that sim feeling, really.
No, exactly. So that's upset a lot of people in the sim world, which is smaller than the regular world, but
that would be the core
fiery.
audience,
They're
wouldn't
some
it?
fiery people.
Big enough to be mad. Big enough
Oh
to be
yeah,
mad.
but the guys from SMS who develop it have come out and said no. There's the physics and stuff is still the same underneath, so the sim is still there.
but
It's just the trailer doesn't look like it. I guess they do want to get a bigger market because they got bought out by Codemasters, or not bought, but they sort of Codemasters
Got
technically
eaten by.
are ahead, sort of not own them, but have absorbed some
They're
of them
bankrolling them.
by
Yeah.
the sound of pretty much. Because I mean, Bando was actually is still publishing this third one too, but they have their own issues too.
Yeah, right.
Codemasters have quite a long history of
Racing.
Racing
Oh, they've
games,
got some
don't
good.
they?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
they do the F1 series.
Yeah.
And
They did Toka, didn't they?
Toka back in the day,
I was
yeah.
going to say, remember Toka? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was terrible at that too, so.
I think I had Colin McRae Rally 2, which
Yep.
is one of the
Oh,
best
yeah.
Nice.
best menus of all time back in the day because it was just so simple and elegant.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys
Did they
ever
do
remember playing
Trackmania?
Monster Trucks?
I don't
Yes.
think they did Trackmania.
The Microsoft, I think, did
Yeah,
Monster
Monster
Trucks.
Truck Madness, the
Yeah,
Madness
they-
franchise
I had,
of
I had,
Microsoft.
I had the second. Yeah, Midtown Madness was good fun.
Midtown
Yeah,
Madness.
and Motocross Madness also fun.
Yeah, Motocross
Well-
Madness, I remember installing all the computers in high school and just spending
Nice.
8 hours on that just open map. Because we only had the demo, so there was one map. Yeah.
Nice.
I love.
I do hope it retains. Oh, sorry. Yep.
No, you go, dude.
I was just saying, I do hope it retains its simulator roots.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope so.
Because I imagine the core audience of Project Cars would be hardcore sim.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, they
No.
actually released on consoles, which is not a lot of Sims do.
Good way to kill a sim.
yeah.
So they would.
Well,
Well, they want to make more
They had a lot
sales
more
because that's where
buyers,
where the money is. Like
Yeah.
the PC version sold well in the first game,
The first one was a Kickstarter, wasn't it?
kind of. We put you could put some money in yourself and I got a return on it. Yeah. So I
Yeah,
put in
okay. Yeah.
like £100 and got back like close to £200 out of it. I think it worked
Nice.
out. Yeah, like
Nice.
plus a
Didn't you
copy
get
of
some
the game.
computer hardware out of that?
I did a guy was it Hong Kong, like just on the forum, and he sent me some stuff. He was actually from Tasmania, and I got a 2600K and a motherboard and RAM and a couple of 5870s, and yeah,
Wow.
Which
was
wasn't
my-
bad for the time.
that was my previous PC until Josh gave me most of this one.
Sim community coming together, bringing the good.
Yeah, it was a really nice community. There was always some pricks, like there always is, but people are trying to do the right thing because they want to develop a good game.
And now they've made the nerds mad.
Yeah, they've made a lot of nerds, man. Not all
Yeah,
the
they're
nerds.
just
but
chasing the
some-
money now.
Yeah, well, they need to make money, but it's like with
Oh,
the second one,
absolutely, yeah.
it didn't sell as well because people didn't like what they'd done. There's always someone's going to do that. So.
Yeah.
I
I've
still
only
play it every
number
now and
two.
then. You own number
Yeah.
2.
Yeah, I've only played number 2. I haven't played number 1. iRacing, isn't that almost a direct competitor? Because that's a sim as well.
Pretty
isn't
much,
it?
but you've got to pay a subscription fee to that.
Oh.
A subscription fee.
Nah.
Yeah, and that's where they do a lot of online, like proper online racing. Like its netcode is fantastic compared to a lot of
Right,
other things
okay.
because they can afford to. The graphics sound is great. The
Was
physics is questionable depending on who you talk to. So we used to call it ice racing.
was that the thing that a whole bunch of, like, when the lockdowns, this pandemic hit, was that
The
what a
F1
whole bunch of,
drivers.
like, legitimate F1 drivers were racing into for, like, giggles on like when there
Don't
was
think it
supposed to
was
be races on?
iRacing.
Was it that?
They used actually F1 2019, I think.
Right. Oh,
They might have used
Didn't one of the
iRacing. I know
drivers get in trouble?
the supercar guys used iRacing. Oh, one guy from the E series got banned because he put in an actual he used a proper esports racer instead of driving himself.
Yeah.
So and another guy, one of the, I think it was the NASCAR drivers, got booted because he went off, like basically someone crashed online and he like ripped him a new one
wow.
online and he got dumped by his team.
Some people are
Someone
just
doesn't
natural
know
trolls.
video
aren't they?
game etiquette. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, even the local stuff, the Australian supercars was done in iRacing. and they
Right,
were racing
right.
a random faction. They had shots. It's hilarious because they televised it. So they had shots of them sitting in their rooms with their like sweet sim rigs and stuff.
Oh, I wish they had a pit crew that would just rip them out of the simulator.
That would be
seat
funny.
every
They
now
come and
then.
like wipe the sweat off his brow. Or
Give them
something.
their Mountain
Give him
Dew
a
and
drink.
stuff like that.
Just replace the HDMI cable.
Oh, jeez.
They come and overclock it or something. Just
Oh,
it's more FPS.
get rebooting it into under
Ooh,
20 seconds,
yeah.
that kind of thing.
Or they have to run it off a laptop on battery,
Oh,
and so they have to
Oh.
they have to come and pit for a new battery to be put into the laptop.
On a dodgy Wi-Fi connection.
yeah.
And the car's just jumping all over
Just
the
to
track.
make it so much worse.
Oh, I think we're coming out with some great ideas here. These are all copyrighted, by the way.
The idea of a pit crew trying to change a battery without plugging it in, but also at the same time without disconnecting the person from the server, that's really appealing to me.
Yeah, I'm keen
Yeah.
for this. That's
I'm sure it could be
basically,
done
like,
with some wire trickery.
This is the chili anima of our generation here. Like, this is the brutal thing that everyone wants to see. Let's go.
Wait. Back up. The chili enema of
Yeah,
our
you're
generation.
gonna have a chili enema, Jamie. That's how
I
this
thought
is
the
gonna
chili
work.
enema was the chili enema of our generation.
Yeah,
No,
me
the
too.
chili enema is the thing that we've got to talk Jamie into. I don't think you'd need as much talking into for this trick, though.
What?
Well, I was going to start with something a little bit more tame, and that is we still need to get Dave to play games
Oh, with
only
this
on a
racing
steering
wheel.
wheel.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
we need to get that on. I'm not
so
sure.
We'll definitely need to arrange for that to happen.
I
soon.
came up with that idea, and then later on, I was like, I don't know what I want him to play, but I just feel like that'd be a thing. So,
Something that that needs a lot of movement,
yeah,
but you're not allowed to use the D-pad on the steering
No, I would
wheel.
use the wheel,
Yeah,
the
you'd have to use
wheel,
the
and
wheel,
the pedals.
the
Yeah.
accelerator,
Wheel and pedals.
Dave totally played Doom. Old Doom. You don't need
The
to look
original
up or
Doom.
down. You use the steering wheel to go left and
To
right,
go
the
left
pedals to
and
go
right.
forward and back. You got to use the gear shift or whatever to shoot your gun.
That could be.
We can workshop
Oh,
it.
the gear shifter could change weapons.
Change weapon. Yeah.
You could select different weapons.
You might even come up with a new meta. It might just work that well.
yeah.
Just pray and spray.
The Doom
you-
meta man.
Could you imagine if Dave was beating Doom speedruns with the steering wheel? Now this is speed.
That'd be amazing. I'd be keen for that.
Oh, all right. Anyway, I'm going to do the outro because I did the intro. I have been
Alright.
Jamie. This has been Neon City Daily Podcast, episode 13, the first ever episode 13. Good night.
I've been Josh. Bye.
Peace.
I was apparently Boris. Bye.
Nick will remain nameless.
He will. That's it. It's done. I'm nameless. I'm Twitter guy. That's how it is.
Good night, everybody.
All right.